If you glance around the room, you'll find products from all over the world. Globalization has been a powerful force, pushing economic integration between nations. Because of global supply chains and technology, with the click of a button, we can purchase products from almost every corner of the globe to arrive at our doorstep within a reasonable amount of time. Even with many potential disruptions, history shows us that global trade will continue. Companies of all sizes are selling their goods and services internationally, and they're reaping the benefits of globalization. If you or the organization that you work for is interested in exporting goods or services, then there are a few things that you should consider. You should look at your own operations and assess your organizational readiness, because it's a very important fundamental first step. In this session on organizational readiness, we will cover the characteristics of export-ready organizations. We're also going to assess what it takes inside our own organizations and look at internal operations, our capabilities, and our resources. Evaluating what readiness tools would be useful to us, as well as addressing gaps, are also going to be considered. Planning ahead before you engage in international market research is also very prudent, so you don't fall into that analysis paralysis trap. I know I have many times. Many of you may have as well. And the way that I define that analysis paralysis trap is when you have the goal of getting online to find one piece of information, maybe take 5 or 10 minutes, and you end up being online for several hours. You get that information, but you find so many other things interesting that are distracting, and you keep going, and before you know it, there's a lot of time that's went by. Having a very specific strategic goal in your research will help keep you focused. We're also going to look at market intelligence and competitive intelligence. We're going to distinguish between the two of them, and also look at all of the areas of use for these types of data. It's important to be systematic when we are engaged in our research. We're going to look at an overall process to help us stay focused in that research. Inefficiencies and time wasted unnecessarily can obviously be costly. So that's why having that strategic, regimented approach is really important. We need to be focused, and we need to collect relevant data. And this will help us guide us in that direction of success when we're working in that market, and also to the future with engaging all of our business activities internationally. Does your company have a product or service that they've been selling successfully in the domestic market? If so, that is one component that is an example of, or a characteristic of, companies that are exporting. They've had that quality. They've had success in that domestic market. Typically, a product or service success in that home domestic market is really a good indicator of its potential success in other markets. Companies with a solid domestic business plan and also with proven effectiveness do have that solid foundation to build on, and that solid foundation will help companies grow. If you're ready for export, then you definitely want to sort of hit the ground and run, right? Well, you really want to analyze what the needs are in the marketplace for your product. You want to make sure that you are differentiated if there's competition that already exists in that market. You want to be also looking at what type of need or want you're fulfilling in that foreign marketplace. What specific advantage do you have over your competition? Those are some of the things that you evaluate, of course, in your domestic market, but in international markets, it's even more complex. There might be different styles and tastes that you have to consider. There's also obviously a new regulatory environment, or different regulatory environments that you also have to consider. And we'll talk about all of these different macro and micro considerations as well. You may have heard the saying that you need money to be able to earn money or something along those lines. Well, companies with a proven success are willing to invest resources. What success indicators show with regard to companies who have been very successful in export markets is that they're really willing to invest the time, people, and capital into their ventures. The return will come. It might take time, but if you do the right or follow the right processes and you have the right product mix, most certainly there will be a return on your investment.